5 on that number. So I'll start with the very first one. So for a few minutes here, you'll be listening to me read these proclamations. And the very first one deals with honoring Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. Whereas this May, during Asian American and Native Hawaiian Pacific Islander Heritage Month, we recognize the history and achievements of Asian Americans, Native Hawaiians, and Pacific Islanders, AANHPI, across our nation. In the midst of a difficult year of pain and fear, we reflect on the tradition of leadership, resilience, and courage shown by AANHPI communities and recommit to the struggle for AANHPI equity. Whereas there's no single story of the AANHPI experience, but rather a diversity of contributions that enrich American culture and society and strengthens the United States' role as a global leader. Whereas the American story as we know it will be impossible without the strength, contributions, and legacies of the AANHPI who have helped build and unite this country in each successive generation. Whereas we celebrate and honor the invaluable contributions of the AANHPI communities have made to our nation's culture and the arts, law, science, technology, sports, and public service, including the courageous AANHPI who have served on the front lines of the COVID-19 pandemic as healthcare providers, first responders, teachers, and essential workers. And whereas during this year's Asian American and Native Hawaiian Pacific Islander Heritage Month, our nation celebrates the achievements of Vice President Harris, the first person of South Asian descent to hold the office of Vice President. Vice President Harris has blazed a trail and set an example for young people across the country to aspire to follow, including members of the AANHPI communities and the AANHPI women in particular. Whereas we recognize the heightened fear felt by many Asian American communities in the wake of increasing rates of anti-Asian harassment and violence during the COVID-19 pandemic, and the increasingly observable layers of hate now directed toward women and elders of Asian descent in particular. Whereas acts of anti-Asian bias are wrong, they are un-American, and they must stop. Now, therefore, I, Anthony S. Ford, by virtue of authority vested in me as the mayor of the city of Stockbridge, Georgia, and on behalf of council members Elton Alexander, Yolanda Barber, John Blunt, Lakeisha Gant, and Alfonso Thomas, do hereby proclaim May 2021 as Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. In witness whereof, I have hereunto set my hand on the 10th day of May 2021 and have caused the official seal of the great city of Stockbridge, Georgia, affixed hereto, and I sign this proclamation along with our clerk, Vanessa Holiday. Okay. And on that note, Mayor Pro Tem, I believe you have some comments, sir.
Yes, Mayor Ford, thank you so much. I think it's extremely important for America and this community and city in general to encourage diversity at every opportunity. We do so, and we stand there in the gap to make sure that we put forth more than words, but in actions and in practices in the city. I think it is long overdue that we reach this day. And I thank Dr. Lily Henson for being here as a representative of that community, understanding that we stand with you in light of recent tragedies and understand we are one, and we welcome all here in the city of Stockbridge for bringing this forward collectively as a body. When I thought of this, I just wanted to make sure that we understood that we wrapped and not only celebrate African American History Month, Women's History Month, but we go down the list and we make sure that every member of this community is aware how valuable they are. And the Asian American Pacific Islander community, we stand with you today as we all stand together, hand in hand in unity, as we move forward in the city. Thank you so much. And thank you, Dr. Henson, for being willing to be here tonight on behalf of the community. We welcome you and we say thanks.
On that note, Dr. Henson, did you want to say anything at all, ma'am?
Yes, I'd like to. I'd like to thank, I just want to say thank you for this proclamation. I just wanted to share my own family story in America. My father came to the United States just as the Great Depression started and worked in a Chinese hand laundry. When World War II broke out, he and many other Chinese men joined the U.S. Army and served in the Pacific Theater. Joining the U.S. Army was the only path to U.S. citizenship for Chinese because of the Chinese Exclusion Act of 1882. I came to the United States when I was 5 years old. We lived in the back of the hand laundry that my father operated in Spanish Harlem, and my mother worked as a seamstress in Chinatown, New York City. Because of my parents' hard work and sacrifices, my 3 older siblings and I were able to go to college, and I was able to go on to medical school. I think about my life now, and a lot of people would consider it to be the American dream. The goals and aspirations of Asian Americans are no different than that of any American. I sometimes wonder if people who see me in the grocery store or on the road think about that when they see me, or they just see someone who looks different than them and therefore cannot see our commonality. I hope they see me and those who look like me for who we are as fellow Americans. Thank you very much for recognizing the history and contributions of Asian Americans.
Thank you, Dr. Henson, for your actual life story there, a brief synopsis of that. And I'll make it a point to have this proclamation framed and then make an appointment to actually come to your office at Piedmont Henry and present this to you as well. Okay? We'll make sure we do that.
Thank you.
No problem.
I appreciate that.
You're more than welcome. And you stay in the meeting as long as you like. I have a few more proclamations that you may be interested in, but stay as long as you like.
Thank
Okay?
you.
Mm-hmm. And the next proclamation I have, ladies and gentlemen, deals with National Nurses Week. And nurses have been extremely important in this last year during this pandemic, right? So whereas according to the American Nurses Association, National Nurses Week begins each year on May 6th and ends on May 12th, Florence Nightingale's birthday. These permanent dates enhance planning and position National Nurses Week as an established recognition event. And whereas first proposed in 1953 as a national observance to honor nurses, wasn't formalized in the United States until 1974, when the White House established a National Nurses Week with a proclamation from President Nixon. In 1982, a joint resolution of the U.S. Congress, designated May 6th as a National Recognition Day for nurses. And whereas as medical science makes new discoveries, nursing skills in turn must become more sophisticated and more highly specialized. In out-of-hospital settings, nurses in increasing numbers are assuming primary care roles as specialized nurse practitioners. And whereas graduates of pediatric nurse practitioner programs are independently caring for a high percentage of children receiving care in metropolitan health clinics and private medical practice, visiting nurses with highly specialized skills in the prevention of illness and accidents and in the assessment and treatment of chronic conditions are making it possible for even very frail elderly people go to on receiving and residing in their own homes, Whereas in a time when everyone in healthcare is dealing with the challenges of COVID-19 pandemic, nurses are among the most significant professionals on the front lines of care. Now, therefore, I, Anthony S. Ford, by virtue of the authority vested in me as the mayor of the city of Stockbridge, Georgia, and on behalf of council members Elton Alexander, Yolanda Barber, John Blunt, and Keisha Gann, and Alfonso Thomas, do hereby proclaim May 6th to May 12th, 2021, to be Nurses Appreciation Week in the city of Stockbridge, and we thank each of you for your exceptional service. In witness whereof, I have hereunto set my hand on the 10th day of May, 2021, and have caused the official seal of the great city of Stockbridge to be affixed hereto, and I sign this along with our clerk, Vanessa Holiday. Now, that is not all. We actually have another proclamation of some other heroes definitely for the last year. Heroes every day, all our lives, and we've all been taught by these individuals. It's Teacher Appreciation Week. And of course, they've had a tough year as well. Teacher Appreciation Week is observed annually during the first full week in May. Whereas teachers mold future citizens through guidance and education, and whereas teachers encounter students of widely differing backgrounds, and whereas our country's future depends on providing quality education to all students, whereas teachers spend countless hours preparing lessons and evaluating progress, counseling and coaching students, and performing community service, whereas our community recognizes and supports its teachers in educating the children of this community. Therefore, I, Anthony S. Ford, by virtue of authority vested in me as the mayor of the city of Stockbridge, Georgia, and on behalf of council members Elton Alexander, Yolanda Barber, John Blunt, Lakeisha Gant, Alfonso Thomas, who hereby proclaim May 2nd to May 7th, 2021 to be Teachers Appreciation Week in the City of Stockbridge. And we strongly encourage all members of our community to join in the personally expressing appreciation to our teachers for the dedication and devotion to their work. In witness whereof, I have hereunto set my hand on the 10th day of May, 2021, and have caused the official seal of the great city of Stockbridge to be affixed here too, and I sign this along with our clerk, Vanessa Holliday. Now, fantastic in that aspect for teachers. Now, for our own clerk, Vanessa Holliday, and our deputy clerk, okay? This is also a proclamation for them. This is the 52nd Annual Professional Municipal Clerks Week. Whereas the Office of Professional Municipal Clerk, a time-honored and vital part of our local government, exists throughout the world. And whereas the Office of Professional Municipal Clerk is the oldest among public servants, and whereas the Office of Professional Municipal Clerk provides a professional link between the citizens, the local governing bodies, and agencies of government at other levels, and whereas professional municipal clerks have pledged to be the ever mindful of their neutrality, impartiality, rendering equal service to all, whereas the professional municipal clerk serves as the informational center on functions of local government and community, whereas professional municipal clerks continually strive to improve the administration of the affairs of the Office of Professional Municipal Clerk through participation in educational programs, seminars, workshops, and the annual meetings of their state, provisional, county, and international professional organizations. And whereas it is most appropriate that we recognize the accomplishments of the Office of Professional Municipal Clerk. Now, therefore, I, Anthony S. Ford, by virtue of authority vested in me as the mayor of the city of Stockbridge, Georgia, and on behalf of council members Elton Alexander, Yolanda Barber, John Blunt, Lakeisha Gant, and Alfonso Thomas, do hereby recognize the week of May 2nd through May 8th, 2021 as Professional Municipal Clerks Week, and further extend appreciation to our professional municipal clerk, deputy clerk, and clerk's office team for the vital services they perform and exponential dedication to the community they serve. In witness whereof, I have hereunto set my hand on the 10th day of May, 2021, and cause the official seal of the great city of Stockbridge to be affixed here too, and I sign this along with our clerk, Vanessa Holliday. And on that note, Ms. Holliday, the floor is yours, ma'am.
Thank you, Mayor Ford. I am honored to serve. I would also like to take this opportunity to recognize the clerk's office team, and this group of individuals work so hard, and it takes a lot to make all this happen, and I am honored to be a part of this team. Randy Rainey, who serves as the deputy clerk, and she has a municipal clerk certification, and she serves in the absence of the clerk. Shari Lane is the administrative assistant to the clerk's office, and her primary role is records management and cemetery operations. Carrie Stewart serves as the city's receptionist who greets and meets the public in person and is the smile on the other end of the phone when you contact the city. And Zenobia Pearson serves as the administrative assistant to the mayor and council, and she assists the elected body with their initiatives and administrative tasks. I would also like to take the opportunity to thank the mayor and council and the city manager for investing in our team with training, education, and technology, which prepared us to work and operate seamlessly during this virtual world during COVID-19. So thank you very much, and thank you to the team.
Thank you for all those comments, and thank you for the entire team. You're an outstanding set of employees, and they're all ladies, and they do wonderful work. This is fantastic. Congratulations, and I look forward to continue to have good work with you all as well.
Thank you.
No problem. One more proclamation, and actually this is the proclamation for the National Day of Prayer. And even though it was May 6th, we're going to read it during this meeting as well. Is that all right with you, Councilman Blunt? I would imagine you said yes to that. All right, good deal. Whereas Americans have always found power and unity through prayer. And whereas in 1988, the Congress, by Public Law 100-307, called on the president to issue each year a proclamation designating the first Thursday in May as a National Day of Prayer. And whereas today, on this National Day of Prayer, we once again come together to give thanks to Almighty God for the bountiful blessings he has bestowed on our great nation, and to ask for his unfailing counsel. We also acknowledge the dependence of God's love to guide our families, communities, and our country away from the harm and toward abundance and peace. And whereas our nation's honored tradition of prayer has sustained us and strengthened our trust that God will continue to watch over and accompany us through the best of times and the darkest hours. May we as Americans never forget the power of prayer and the greatness of our Creator. On this National Day of Prayer, let each of us, according to our own faith, call upon God for his guidance and express our gratitude for the love and grace he bestows on us and our country. Now, therefore, I, Anthony S. Ford, by virtue of authority vested in me as the mayor of the city of Stockbridge, Georgia, and on behalf of council members Elton Alexander, Yolanda Barber, John Blunt, Lakeisha Gann, Alfonso Thomas, do hereby proclaim May 6, 2021 as National Day of Prayer and invite all to pray in accordance with their own faith and consciousness in thanksgiving for the freedoms and blessings we have received and for God's protection. And witness whereof I have hereunto set my hand on the 6th day of May, 2021, and have caused the official seal of the great city of Stockbridge, Georgia, to be affixed here too. And I sign this along with our clerk, Vanessa Holiday. Fantastic. Outstanding. Appreciate it. On that note, there's all the proclamations tonight, ladies and gentlemen. I think I set a record of 5, I believe. But anyways,